We started SPI in 1987 with the idea that the injury victim and their family needed the same information, the same tools, and the same access to the investment markets that the defendants had when they came up against the injury victim in a case. So at that time in the structured settlement and settlement planning marketplace, individuals like us who worked for the injury victim and their family were pariahs. We were not appreciated. We were disrupting the old boy network. We came in and told plaintiff attorneys, and more importantly, the injury victim and their family, what the defense wouldn't tell them about structured settlements. From there, we took a look at the structured settlement marketplace over a period of years and decided that what was really missing from this equation was the concepts and practices of financial planning applied to injury victims and their families as they came through the settlement of their case. It wasn't just an annuity, a structured settlement annuity. It was everything else that they needed. They needed advice on whether to pay cash for a house or carry a mortgage. They needed advice on what to do about their transportation, vans, lifts, the best vendors, etc. Basically, these people that we deal with, injury victims and their families, are really a blank canvas. When we meet them through the course of the settlement of their case, they generally need everything. Not only an income replacement, which is really the highest and best use of a structured settlement annuity, but they need everything else too. They need assets managed for future growth and to offset future inflation and to provide for contingent needs, things that we can't forecast today, but we know something's going to come up later. They need to have assets under management and other accounts that take care of their future automobile and van purchases, replacements for their lifts, new equipment for their home rehabilitation rooms, and that sort of thing. In addition, many of these people have of course, they've lost their job. They won't go back because of their injuries. That means they've lost their pension. So the income that we set up and the assets that we're managing have to last them for a lifetime. And traditionally, the annuity was a very good strategy for that, but it doesn't cover everything. So settlement planning addresses everything that the injury victim and their family needs or wants to do. That's why it's such a tremendous strategy for claimants going through a personal injury lawsuit. They might meet an expert who just has structured settlement annuities to offer as his single solution, but when that same injury victim and their family meets us, we step back, and before we recommend an annuity or any other investment product or strategy, we first want to do an in-depth discovery of all of the needs and wants of that family and that personal injury victim. And then we also want to talk to them about their investment experience. We want to find out what they've had experience with in the past in terms of stocks, bonds, CDs, government securities, and how they feel about all those investments. If they haven't had direct experience, perhaps somebody in their family did. Maybe their grandfather had experience in the stock market in the great crash of 1929, and ever since the family's been really shy in terms of having investments in stocks and equities. Maybe they don't have a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings for banks and bankers, and they'd rather stay away from CDs. Maybe they don't like insurance companies, and they'd rather stay away from annuities. Before we'll make a recommendation as to how to meet certain of the injury victim and their family's needs, we're going to do an in-depth data gathering and an interview to find out exactly how they feel about all these different issues. So at SPI, we're proud to have pioneered the concept of settlement planning in the United States. And again, that's the nexus, the marriage of structured settlements and financial planning, so that what we're providing to the injury victim and their family is a complete, holistic approach to their entire financial picture, and a plan that is going to meet their needs today, tomorrow, and for the rest of their lives. The process starts when either the injury victim calls us, or more likely their attorney calls us. And generally we get called into the case 30, 60, 90 days ahead of a mediation. Sometimes we don't get called until the day of mediation. Occasionally we don't get called until just after, but in any event, the work effort is the same. We immediately move in to help the attorney get a handle on the lien situation, which is always important because the amount of money that is used to settle liens in a case directly affects how much is left with which we can help plan for the injury victim's future needs. Pretty simple. So if we can help the attorney lower the cost, lower the amount that's paid back on liens, either through direct help through our lien resolution services or with some strategies, some ideas, maybe some case sites, that means that those liens get settled for less money than had been originally budgeted, and that means there's more money left over with which we can buy houses, take care of transportation needs, college funding for kids, and set up the all-important lifetime income streams.